My name is Erin Benjamin, and this is my summary of learning for EC&I831, Social Media and Open Education. I began this course with a very basic understanding of open education and limited experience with social media. I used Facebook and Instagram to personally connect with friends and family members, and did the occasional lurking on Snapchat and Twitter. I had a professional blog that was inactive since being in EC&I831. I hadn't been using Twitter, and my digital footprint was very weak. My first task within this course was strengthening my digital footprint by branding myself online professionally. I created an About Me page, revamped my blog from my undergraduate studies, and increased my Twitter involvement. My PLN grew as I began sharing my blog posts, retweeting classmates' tweets, engaging in Twitter chats such as SaskEdChat and Seesaw Chat, and using TweetDeck to better organize these thoughts. I also became more selective in who I started following on Twitter. I began viewing myself as a producer of content and not only a consumer. Blogging was a useful way to reflect on each week's content and document my growth throughout the semester. It was an opportunity to share, discuss, and question each other. Oftentimes, more questions arose as opposed to questions being answered, but we were able to support each other and deepen our understanding of open education and social media. Module 1 focused on learning in a connected age. Michael Wesch's reading, From Knowledgeable to Knowledge-able, helped me to understand the difference between knowing a lot of stuff to learning how to find, sort, analyze, and ultimately criticize new information and knowledge. This week's message from Pavan Arora was that knowledge is obsolete. As human beings, we have constant access to knowledge anytime, anywhere. Realizing that knowledge is always at the fingertips of my students, I began to look more critically at what and how I teach. This week helped me realize that more emphasis needs to be on accessing, applying, and assessing knowledge, and not necessarily transmitting content to my students. Dave Cormier's message on rhizomatic learning helped me to continue shifting my idea of curriculum from content to community. He recommended that we guide students to look for answers, not the answer. I attempted this with my grade 2 class that week as we turned to Commander Chris Hadfield to answer our questions regarding gravity's pull, rather than looking in an outdated textbook. It's Dave Cormier's Content is People message that helped me understand connectivism and 21st century learning. We then moved into Module 2, which explored several of the social media tools that today's youth are using. We learned how many youth are moving away from Facebook because of its permanency, among other reasons. Youth are realizing that their social media presence can have a lasting impact on relationships and career pursuits, and they're seeking social media platforms that are real-time, engaging, and more personal. In one way, I see this as youth being smart digital citizens, recognizing the impact of their online posting. On the other hand, the posting of a 10-second temporary snap can open up a whole other realm of online issues dealing with privacy, anonymity, and cyberbullying. Taking a look at some ugly sites on the internet like 4chan, Yik Yak, and Anonymous help me understand that we can't necessarily control what social media forums students engage with, but we can emphasize the importance of good digital citizenship. Much of what we do and teach as teachers, both offline and online, needs to come from a place of empathy. Yes, things like cyberbullying and cyber self-harm are apparent today and are a serious problem, but removing students from social media and putting firewalls up will not eliminate these problems. Technology is a tool, and students need to be taught the social skills to cope with cyberbullying or potential trolling encounters. Acting with empathy and integrity online needs to be a message shared with all of our students. The area within this course that I had the least amount of prior knowledge for was the open education movement. I learned that open education is a movement aimed at providing quality education to people globally by sharing teaching resources online free of charge. Having access to these resources and the ability to consistently adapt them would mean that students no longer would have to learn from outdated textbooks. The semester then led to issues such as online identity, reputation, privacy, and net neutrality. Jesse Irwin's article, Why Net Neutrality Matters to Education, taught me that net neutrality essentially is a set of rules that makes the internet free for all users. These rules ensure there is equal treatment for all internet users and that certain providers aren't able to purchase fast lanes to access their content. If this were the case, if there were fast lanes and slow lanes, it would impact the open education movement. The online tools that teachers rely on for instruction and the open education resources that we access would fall in the lower tier, the slower lane of the internet, making it that much more difficult to access a variety of resources. As Irwin states in his article, a faster web for some isn't an equal web for all, and the rules that favor internet service providers jeopardize the web's ability to serve as a platform for free speech and innovation. It's my opinion that internet access should be a right for all, and although not everyone has access at this point, net neutrality does help prevent a further digital divide. The final module explored identity, reputation, and privacy. This helped me understand that children are being born into a digital identity and are connected sometimes even before birth. I see my role as one to model and encourage good digital citizenship. I want to explain and show my students the benefit in creating positive digital spaces to brand themselves. My students are 7 years old, but I want to show them that it's never too early to develop good citizenship and portray their lives positively online. My students could potentially encounter bullies and trolls online, but they could also be inspired to use social media as an important tool towards social action. I will continue to defend and model the benefits of using social media within the classroom, as I feel they do outweigh the dangers. This semester, I gained a much clearer understanding of the role that social media can play in education. I became aware of open access resources, Creative Commons, and the importance of net neutrality. I learned how personal learning can occur and be documented online through the support of a PLN. I became a producer as well as consumer of information through blogging and Twitter. Thank you to Alec, Katya, and to my fellow EC&I831 classmates for a semester of insight, encouragement, and growth. I look forward to continue learning from you all within my PLN.